Say nighty-night and kiss me. Just hold me tight and tell me you'll miss me while I'm alone and blue as can be. Dream a little dream of me.
Joining us now on the program, great to welcome one of the co-authors of a very interesting book, hopefully very helpful as well. It's called Sleeping Your Way to the Top, How to Get the Sleep You Need to Succeed. And we're joined today by Dr. William David Brown. He's a diplomate of the American Board of Sleep Medicine, and he has been studying this for a long time, helping a lot of people. And Doctor, good to talk with you. How are you today?
I'm doing great, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk with you.
Great title for a book, very provocative. At least the first half of it.
It is. It's a great title, but we were hoping to use the title to get people interested in looking at why sleep can be helpful to anything you do in your life.
I think most people nowadays, maybe more than even 10 or 15 years ago, are really kind of operating sleep deprived. Is that accurate?
There's absolutely no question about that Americans as a society have added about 160 hours to their work and commute time per year. That's an extra month of work has been added. You know, we still want to interact with our family, we still want to have fun, we still want to do things, so people are giving up their sleep. And you can see that our total sleep time has decreased substantially over the last 40 years. And there's a cost for that. I mean, it's not something that we can necessarily adapt to.
Yeah, sleep is one of those things you almost take for granted. You go to bed at night and you drop right off, but so many people, from what you see on TV with all the sleep aids and all that, or people just having trouble going to sleep. It's a big problem, isn't it?
It's a huge problem. There's a great quote: sleep, like health and wealth, is only truly appreciated once it's lost. And I think that's part of the problem, is people do take their sleep for granted. It's only when you're having trouble with it that you start obsessing and worrying about it, which also tends to make everything worse. You know, the CDC just did a recent study, a huge study, over 400,000 people. And in roughly every state, about a third of the population is getting less than 7 hours of sleep every single night. And the new National Sleep Foundation guidelines are suggesting that most of us need between 7 and 9 hours of sleep per night. And if you're getting less than 7 hours of sleep, it's going to have both physiologic and psychologic consequences.
Yeah, I know growing up, you're always told get your 8 hours of sleep in, but that has kind of dropped down to 7 being almost the norm, which really isn't enough for most people. You can get away with it for a day or two, but over the long haul, that's when you see the problems arise, right? It kind of catches up with you.
It is. And, just since you mentioned children, when we say to our kids, in order to grow big and strong, you need to get plenty of sleep at night, there's definitely truth to that. It's during sleep that growth hormone is released, right. So that if you don't get sleep, you don't get growth hormone. Now, obviously, that is important for our children, but as we get older, there's a natural decline in stage 3 sleep, a deep sleep stage, and a natural decline in our growth hormones. But we would love to keep growth hormone as we get older, because it may be related to bone density, muscle mass, and as you know, our bones get more brittle as we get older. And sleep is at least one factor that may be contributing to that.
Yeah, you talk in the book the different types of sleep, and I guess we all, you sort of realize it when you're in that dream state, but there's more than, there's 3 or 4 different stages, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah, there are. There's 3 non-REM stages, and then REM sleep, which is where dreams occur. And they are different. Stage 1 is a very light sleep stage. If somebody walks into the room when you're in stage 1, you would almost immediately respond to them. At best, you might say, I was just dozing off. Stage 2, we spend about half of the night there. It's a more solid sleep stage. If somebody walks in, they would have to wake you up, and you would say, I was asleep. Stage 3 is a very deep sleep stage. In fact, it's difficult to wake people up out of this sleep stage. And if you wake up out of it, you are disoriented, hard to clear your mind, fuzzy, and it takes a while before you can clear your mind out of that. And then REM sleep is where dreams occur. And we're all paralyzed in REM sleep. If you've ever had a dream you're trying to run away from somebody and just feel like your legs are stuck in molasses, that's the atonia.
Is it important, as best you can, to get all those stages in one session? I guess that is the point of sleep, right? To go through all those stages, or as many as you can?
Yes, we think so. When we talk about sleep cycles, and so a sleep cycle is basically running through non-REM through REM, and sleep cycles last about 90 minutes. So REM sleep occurs about every 90 minutes during the night, but the REM periods themselves get longer as the night goes on. And so we have 3 to 5 dreams every single night, even though most of us at best can only recall one. And it's usually the last dream of the night that we remember because we think you have to wake up out of a dream and think about it. And so I hate to say this, but even as much as we know scientifically about sleep, the reason we sleep is still unknown, which is hard to believe. But we think it is critically important because we get a lot of it. I mean, there is no other single behavior we engage in more so than sleep. If you live to be 90, you will have spent 33 years of your life sound asleep. And we now have theories still. We have many theories about why we sleep, and some of them are very compelling now, that we need sleep for our brain to function. Basically, we need sleep to remember things, to clear out our neural networks, and to allow us to learn the following day.
I was going to say, is dreaming kind of the brain's way of kind of cleaning out itself? It seems that way. I don't know. Is that why we dream, partially?
Well, people talk about REM sleep being as different from non-REM sleep as sleep is from wake. REM sleep is a very weird sleep stage. I mean, we're paralyzed. We're having vivid hallucinations, these dreams, and a dream will often have an affective or an emotional component to it. And so one of the things about sleep now is it's a way that we remember feelings without re-experiencing the feeling. So, for example, if you're in a car accident and you get a big adrenaline rush and you're all upset and your heart's racing and you're sweating and you can't calm down, well, in REM sleep, you'll remember that accident, but it's going to strip off all of the physiologic arousal to it so that you can remember, I had an accident, it was scary, but your heart rate doesn't go back up, you don't start sweating, you just don't start hyperventilating. I mean, again, that's theoretical, but it's a pretty interesting theory. And we think REM sleep does something totally different from non-REM sleep.
Yeah. How about, I know you talk about it in the book, I think you had even a picture in there of Thomas Edison, who was kind of famous for taking naps. I guess the power nap is a good idea as long as it isn't too long, right? Less than 30 minutes, is that the recommendation?
Yeah, there's a good literature on napping, and I do think it is important. We put Thomas Edison in there specifically because I think all of our society's attitude toward sleep changed largely as a function of his work. You know, he scoffed at the idea of sleep. He thought it was a criminal waste of time and a heritage from our cave days. And yet, I put those pictures in there because almost anyone that visited Edison would find him asleep. He was at his workbench, but he was often asleep. And so the point there was he is the beginning of the myth that you can't both sleep and be successful. And the attitude, society's attitude changed. With the electric light bulb, we could artificially extend our day. Work hours could go into the night. They could go all night. And the idea was we need to be able to control or get rid of sleep in our lives so that we can be more productive. And the point of our book is that just the opposite is the case, that we now know that if you can get more sleep, it's going to ultimately be more productive, more creative, and safer in your life. So the nap. Yes, a nap is a good thing. There's a natural dip in our functioning between 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's physiologic. It's circadian. It has nothing to do with a heavy meal or a warm room. We just have a natural dip there. That a lot of cultures are designed around it. It's what the siesta is. We tend to put the English model in our country, which is we bully through it and we put tea time right there. But a short nap, 20 to 30-minute nap, is good because it will rejuvenate you. It will recharge your batteries. A longer nap, the problem with a longer nap, it's ultimately more recuperative, but you may go into deep stage 3 sleep, and that's the sleep stage that's so hard to wake up out of, and you're disoriented. And it takes about 45 minutes after a long nap before you feel yourself again. So that's why we think a short nap is helpful, particularly if you're on...
Well, it's a fascinating topic, and the book is called Sleeping Your Way to the Top, How to Get the Sleep You Need to Succeed. And we've been talking with Dr. W. David Brown. And you have a website, Doctor, and we get more information on the book?
Well, you can go to sterlingpublishing.com and get some information about the book, or there is a sleepingyourwaytothetop.com. That's a long title, but there's some information there as well.
Great. Well, Doctor, pleasure talking to you. Great book, and hopefully we can do it again. Thanks for being with us.
I appreciate the opportunity, so get plenty of sleep.
Thank you.
Sweet dreams that leave all worries far behind you. But in your dreams, whatever they be, dream a little dream of me. La da 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 da.
I'm Stan Brock. 30 years ago, I formed Remote Area Medical to help people overseas. But then we found generations of families in America isolated by poverty from the health care they need. Together, we can take dental, vision, and medical help to 1 million adults and their kids, right here at home in the United States of America.
If you'd like to order the book we're talking about, please go to DougMilesMedia.com and enter the author's name in the Amazon search box. Thank you for listening. Please come back soon for more conversations here at DougMilesMedia.com. This has been a presentation of Doug Miles Media, all rights reserved. You can listen to or download previous programs at iTunes, Stitcher.com, or DougMiles.